all facets. Josh Allen will start next year with a new coach. After an overtime loss finds the Bills out of the playoffs yet again. GM Brandon Beane keeps his job, and Coach, you'll love this, actually got promoted to President of Football Operations. What does this mean for Josh and the Bills?
Well, I mean, this is the fork in the road for Josh's career, right? His head coach change. And the stat that we talked about before the season still remains true. And it bit the Ravens and the Bills this year, which is every single coach and quarterback combo that has ever won at least one Super Bowl together won their first Super Bowl together within 5 years of being together. For Allen and McDermott and for Lamar and Harbaugh, this was year 8 for both of them. And so, you know, the historical odds, granted, I understand small sample, all of that, but it's the samples, the entirety of the Super Bowl era, said the odds were stacked against them, and now they're both looking for new head coaches. I also think this should be a reality check for Josh, and I think his emotions at the press conference speak that it might have been that he has to mature as a player. In two years ago, in the playoff loss against the Chiefs, on the final drive of the game, he's running with the ball out like a loaf of bread, down 3 with 5 minutes left. Ball gets knocked out. Chiefs try to scoop and score to end the game. They don't fall on it. The Bills get it. They end up missing the kick that year. Last year in the game against the Chiefs, he fumbles 3 times. They recover all of them. And then and they lose the game for other reasons. This year, the fumble before the half is egregious. The fumble after halftime is not great. The first interception, those are all bad decisions. And being able to, in the highest leverage spots, Coach, be the superhero while not being your own kryptonite is what makes legendary players legendary. And it would be unfair for me to say, like, Josh Allen cost McDermott his job, because the reason McDermott had the job as long as he did is because Josh Allen is so great. Josh Allen is one of the greatest players of his generation. But he's got to be better and smarter with his decision-making with ball security in some of these spots and come through. And so, I mean, it's got to fall on him in a way that I think it should, that, man, we weren't able to get it done together. What do I need to change to make sure I can get it done with my next head coach?
Yeah, and the reason he became the MVP last season was because he was able to control the turnovers. But what this means for Josh Allen is the ownership has said, you have enough good players around you to win the Super Bowl, and we should be winning the Super Bowl. And I remember Sean went to 2 AFC championship games, and there was total dysfunction in the organization before he got there. 18 years without a playoff, he gets him there. But the personnel guy, not only does he survive, he gets promoted. But I thought this statistic was really interesting. I don't know if we can bring it up. Since drafting Josh Allen in 2018, they've drafted 56 players. 2 have made the Pro Bowl. Okay? 2 of those guys. Now, I mean, it feels like everybody makes the Pro Bowl these days, but only 2 of those 56 made the Pro Bowl. So, yeah, you can. I understand the thought process from ownership, because there's no Burrow, there's no Lamar, there's no Mahomes, there's no Chiefs. You have Superman. Superman needs to be Superman. You lose the AFC East to a team that only won 4 games last year. All those things come into play, but there should be a little bit more time, I think, away to objectively evaluate the season before you make a organizational decision like they did for an organization that was in absolute dysfunction before that coach
Do you agree, Coach, real quick, Brew, that I would have thought if they were only going to fire one of the GM or head coach and keep the other, I felt like the GM was more like that the GM was more culpable than the head coach for this season. Like that's what to me was like, and that's what the.
Well, but do you remember last year? I thought Buffalo was going to have a down year because of all the personnel changes, and they overachieved for that. But there doesn't seem like there was much credit given for that. And now this year, you're saying that they're underachieving. And again, you have the former or the reigning MVP and the rushing champion. Those are two really strong pieces. But you don't win, the Super Bowl just based off of two pieces.
Yeah, I thought, Coach, if they got rid of McDermott, they should have got rid of Brandon Beane too, the GM, who they promoted. So, because I was like you, I thought they overachieved last year. I didn't think they had the personnel. And to not give, I get it, they're a running team. They kind of start throwing less, so they didn't feel like they needed an elite receiver. I guess they thought Keon Coleman would become that, but that was a misjudgment, at least for now. And so,
yeah, but was that a misjudgment by Sean?
No, I agree. That's from the GM. So, what it means for Josh, Nick, I agree. You can't blame the firing solely on him, but he does have to wear that. If I played better, Sean McDermott's not fired. And I don't know what their relationship is, but if he really likes him, then. Well, that had a lot to do with it.
Unless this was a Ravens-type decision where even if they went to the AFC Championship game, remember Broussard said, hey, would he have survived? He would have survived another week. Was this a true, and you said this, was it truly Super Bowl or bust for McDermott, or would this game have changed anything, or would we be having this discussion certainly, later?
No, that's a good point. I think the thing, too, for Josh, it puts the bullseye on him now. So McDermott has been blamed for this failure, right? Not getting to a Super Bowl. If they get a good coach in, then eventually, now it's looking, and same thing for Lamar. Now you're looking at the quarterback. You didn't get there with an established coach who we know is very good. We put it on the coach. Now it's you, and let's see. If they cannot make the Super Bowl and they still run into these same problems, then I think there's going to be more of a bullseye on Josh Allen than the
coach. Lamar, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, someone's not making the Super Bowl. In fact, multiple guys, once I do the math on it.
You mean next year?
Just everyone's got Super Bowl or bust. They're running out of guys. All right, so you got Lamar
you're right,
and Josh, who fired their coach because they didn't go far enough. All right, someone's not going to the Super Bowl next year.
Dust, can we just throw up the 6 playoff wins playoff wins 6 years in a row? Sorry, it'll take them a second. This is weird. Not this one. I apologize.
They're one of the four,
right. So that's an Allen stat. Allen's got 8 playoff wins. He's the only quarterback with at least 6 not make a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. But as far as team success, these are the 3 other teams that 6 straight years won a playoff game. They won 9 Super Bowls in that stretch between them, 3 apiece, and went to 13. The fact that those are the dynasties of my life.
But one is in the other one's way. You know what I'm saying?
Two are in the other one's way. Kansas City, New England, those are all AFC teams.
No, 18.
New England,
no, 18.
Is before.
New England's 11 to 18.
Gotta get my context.
Yes, I get that. But that's why, to Bruce's point, this loss is so damaging, because I have always felt it is a misnomer to flatly say, if not for Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen would have all these Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. When he is the 13 seconds game was in the divisional round. Last year's playoff loss, or 2 years ago playoff loss, was in the divisional round. Like the first year that they played in 2 conference championship games, one they got blasted in when the Bills in 2020, and the close one was last year. But at least there has been it's just all the Josh Allen playoff failures, the Josh Allen playoff losses stats are actually Mahomes stats. But they're not. It's a Joe Burrow stat now and a Bo Nix Broncos stat. And so there's that piece of it as well.
All right, I want to get your reaction to Josh after the game. Despondent. 2 interceptions, 3 fumbles. Here he is shouldering the blame, and then Deion Dawkins, after hearing that Josh is shouldering the blame. That's a lot.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to that?
I don't remember ever seeing that in this round of the playoffs. And it's, to me, my reaction to that, coach, is I don't know, like you said, what the timing was on deciding to fire McDermott. But if I were running the team and I wasn't planning on firing McDermott going into that game, like we're on the road, we're, against whatever it is. If I wasn't planning on it, and then after the game I saw arguably my two best players in tears and the head coach calling reporters talking about the alleged missed call, I would then think, oh, this loss is, we can't just run this back. Yeah. This is a fracturing loss, the likes of which the 13-second game seemed to be, which if we go back in history and just say it would have been unfair, it wasn't his fault, it might, in the moment, they probably should have made a change after that. Like, there are certain moments that it feels like the team doesn't recover from. And it felt to me, seeing that, coach, that this team was not just going to be like, man, tough one, we'll get them next year.
Not how the Bears reacted, certainly. Like, very much like, all right.
It's not even how the Texans reacted when their quarterback had 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, they're both just happy to be there.
Right.
Yeah, and and to me, you want your best players to be hurting that bad, and that's probably why they're your best players, because it means so much to them. And I don't think that's an indictment necessarily on Sean. And to some degree, when you're Superman, you need to be Superman in those big moments. And he had a chance with Dawson Knox with 16 seconds left. The guy's running clean across the field. Would he have scored? I don't know. There's a corner on the backside, pretty under. I think the mismatch, Knox probably could have got in. He missed him. Here it is. He misses him on this play. That easily could have won the game. The fumble at the end of the half, the interception overtime. When you're Superman, you expect them to do Superman-type things in those moments. And I'm sure that when Josh thought about it and thought about the things that he missed, it probably does hurt incredibly.
Yeah, I don't look down on them for crying like that. I mean, they wanted it. That shows you how badly they wanted it. And I think, as I said earlier, Coach, they felt like, I know they didn't think it was going to be easy, of course. You still got to win the games. But with the Chiefs out, how could you not feel like this is it? The Ravens are out. Like, we should get to the Super Bowl. And I think that's why I think they could understand losing to the Chiefs, who've won Super Bowls. But losing to Bo Nix in his second year, when they had 5 turnovers to Denver's 1 and lost by 3 in overtime. Like, they know they blew it. And the answer to the question, the loss is on Josh. He has to, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I said, Coach, 2 losses this weekend were on the quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud and Josh Allen. Because I think without all those turnovers in both cases, the team wins. And not a blowout, but they win convincingly. And so I just think, the number one thing is don't turn the ball over. He had 4. Every single game this weekend, the quarterback with the fewest turnovers won the game. And that's what it was.
I also don't buy the analysis of, well, because the team wouldn't have been there without him, criticizing him for a terrible performance is unfair. If that's the metric, then to switch sports for a moment, NBA superstar ever is on a free roll. Because every single basketball team ever that gets to the deep in the playoffs, it's because of their superstar. And then, he was 2 for 13 with 11 turnovers again. I'm not picking that stat out of nowhere. Sorry, James Harden. It's like, what do you want? They wouldn't have been there. Like, yes, we all know that without Josh Allen, the Bills have not won a playoff game in 6 straight years. We all get that. That's the table stakes for being considered one of these all-time great players. It then is fair. Not only is it fair, it is incumbent upon us in the media to be honest about performances, and if we're going to have double standards or play favorites, be open about it. Like, America, if you haven't noticed, I'm from Kansas City. I root for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is my favorite player of all time. I try to be fair with all my analysis, but you know that going in. But there are certain parts, and this is what frustrates people. I'm not killing the guy for crying either. I do know that if the 2 seed that was, in theory, had the better path to a Super Bowl. Chicago Bears quarterback showed up to the press conference, Caleb Williams, sobbing. I don't think the media reaction is quite as charitable as it's been to Josh. And I also know that there are a lot of folks that felt to me that last week wagged their finger at that older lady in Jacksonville for rooting for the Jags in the press conference, who spent the moments after this game talking about how their heart is breaking for the defending MVP because he turned the ball over 4 times. That's weird to me. Like, people that claim to be objective, all of it, and then are basically saying, man, I get as a sports fan wanting to see great players break through. I understand that we all want to see great players on the biggest stages. But that doesn't mean we have to look the other way when a great player does have it all in front of him, does, to your point, have the rushing champ, is playing a young quarterback, does have all these things, and it's his mistakes that put them in this position.
And I think to your point, the star gets you there. The superstar wins the championship.
Yeah.
All right, after the game, Sean Payton delivered the devastating news that Bo Nix's season was over. A broken ankle. He'll have surgery on tomorrow. After the game, Super Bowl champion Nick Foles said that he's sending prayers for a strong recovery to Bo, and said on a positive note going into the game versus the Patriots is that they struggle against backup quarterbacks in championship-type games. Thank you for that. Nick Foles. Brew, are you giving the Broncos a chance without Bo Nix?
Well, look, I was going to reference, we've seen strange things happen. Nick Foles beats Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Jeff Hostetler leads the Giants to the Super Bowl after Phil Simms gets hurt. That's way back in 1990. But still, look, I think it's slim, but the Patriots, and I'm sure Vrabel won't allow this, they can't take them lightly. You just don't know what anything could happen. And again, we wonder if Davis Mills started that game for Houston, not that he's better than C.J. Stroud, but maybe that's a different outcome.
We have been playing backup quarterbacks all year, so we are mentally prepared.
Look, you guys, this would be a terrible loss for you guys. Even though it's in Denver, this would be a heartbreaking loss for you guys, but the chances are very slim.
I wouldn't say they're very slim. I don't think that at all. I mean, Denver's only lost 1 game at home. And to me, the thing that I said about Drake, even as he's been so good this season, is the sacks were an issue. And he did a better job bringing those down. But in the playoffs, he's been sacked 15% of the time. That's double his in-season rate. Know who's number 1 in the NFL at sacks? Yep. The Denver Broncos. So if you have that volume of turnovers, and Stidham can go in and play, and let's just start with not turning the ball over. That, to me, could easily swing the game. So there's that part of it. Denver's a difficult place to play, and even though New England's been excellent on the road, they're undefeated, right? But it's a hard place to play. Noise, the sacks, the turnovers. Yeah, it's not great for Denver, but I'd give them much better than a slim chance to win.
And if you're right and the Patriots dynasty is back, that means you lose playoff games.
Yeah, 0-3.
Yeah, you always, that's the one place where you guys always lose. And there is not a much bigger difference in offensive lines you're going up against, going from Chargers, Texans to then Denver. From 2 of the either most injured or worst offensive lines to the best. Here's what I want to say about the Broncos quickly here. I want to, first of all, give Sean Payton credit for doing what he did there by calling the press back into the room and announcing that. A lot of coaches treat everything like it's state secrets, even if they know what's going to come out. I thought Sean Payton did the right thing there, and we have this information. Everyone's going to find out. You'll find out from me. So that's first of all. Second of all, fair is fair. I don't know if anyone's been more skeptical of the Broncos, but certainly of Bo Nix than me. He was excellent. He was excellent in that game. He also had, I couldn't believe it, but I had bet the Bills, and then during the game when they were trailing, I kept betting the Bills because I was so confident they were going to win. And when the Bills were up 1 and only got a field goal, and they were up 4, giving the ball back to Denver, I was like, Yeah, I think Bo Nix is going to go
Oh,
lead
you're
him to a
believing
touchdown.
in
I
Bo
did.
Nix?
He had been doing it.
Well, he's been great.
He'd been doing it, and so credit to him. I do feel sick for the Broncos fans that you lose your quarterback to a broken ankle like this. Like, I don't remember an injury like this.
No.
Like a number 1 seed, like in the playoffs, losing their quarterback, right? Like, that's super rare. And then lastly, as far as giving them a chance, Sean Payton has had, it's limited, but some success when he plugs in these backup quarterbacks, whether it was when Breeze missed time and he had Teddy or tried to do the Taysom thing.
Jameis
Right.
Yeah,
and
Jameis
so,
was
well,
5
Jameis
and
was
2, I think.
after.
Was that post-Payton?
That was post-Breeze. That wasn't plugging in a guy for an
Gotcha.
injury.
He was on an
Still,
MVP
they were
pace.
but-
Very good right away.
But so, and
5
Jared,
and 2.
and Jared Stidham's been in the league a long time. So I'm certainly not giving them 0 chance. 5.5 is a lot of points for a home.
It's going to be a
Home
tough
team.
game.
Drafted by the Patriots, first OC, Josh McDaniels. Low-key rooting for Jarrett Stidham.
One of my early takes.
No way you
Javelin.
are.
Oh, we'll win.
So if he plays well,
14-28.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.